The UNSS Matador creaked as it slid into stationary orbit above Carnix 9. From its observation deck, the planet looked like a cracked emerald wrapped in smoke, its surface obscured by fast-moving clouds and a slow roiling storm of magnetic interference. Beautiful, in the way a loaded pistol left on a nursery floor was beautiful, glinting, sharp, and promising disaster. Commander Jules Moreno leaned against the railing, arms crossed. 12 teams, he said flatly. 12 elite task forces, not one survivor. Behind him, holograms flickered, names, files, reports. Every unit the Galactic Council had sent into the Carnix biosphere had been shredded, dissolved, or simply vanished. The planet had officially been declared a no-touch zone, and yet here they were, humanity, volunteering once again to go face first into the blender. "Correction," said Dr. Talia Venn from the central console, her fingers dancing over bioluminescent keys. "One survivor. Kind of." She pulled up a grainy body cam feed. It showed something massive, indescribable, lunging from the shadows, tearing through armor like it was rice paper. The soldier had time to scream, "It learns!" before the screen turned red and silent. Moreno exhaled slowly. "Right. Kind of." Talia adjusted her glasses, an old affectation since her vision had been genetically corrected since birth, but she liked the look. "It doesn't hunt for food. It doesn't leave remains. It erases, as if the very act of being observed offends it." "Good," said a voice from the corner. "I hate drama queens." Corporal de Cunha, Deeks to everyone, was sitting backward on a chair, chewing on a protein bar with the easy irreverence of a man who'd survived too much to take fear seriously. He wore a patchwork of armor pieces from at least 5 different units, none matching, all scarred. His weapon of choice leaned against the wall, a custom flamethrower adorned with hand-painted daisies and the words, "Kiss, kiss, burn, burn." Talia sighed. "You're not taking this seriously." "I'm taking it seriously," Deeks replied, mouth full. "That's why I brought extra marshmallows." Moreno ignored the banter and glanced at the final member of the team, seated silently in the farthest chair, hood up, face obscured. The one everyone just called Baba Yaga. Even among humans, his file was classified. No real name, no origin, no rank. Just a call sign that made even hardened generals shift in their seats. According to whispers, he'd once ended a hostage crisis by simply walking into the room and looking at the captors. The only evidence left behind was a melted lock and a spoon embedded in a wall. The man hadn't spoken since boarding the Matador, not to anyone, not a word. He just sat, breathing slowly, as if sleeping with his eyes open. "Let me make this clear," Moreno said, stepping forward. "Carnix 9 hosts what the Council calls an XK-class extinction entity. That means it doesn't just kill. It evolves past our weapons. It adapts to logic, tactics, even instincts. It's the apex predator of apex predators." "So," Deeks said, raising a hand, "we shoot it. We confuse it," Talia corrected. "Disrupt it long enough to study its biology and, ideally, kill it." Deeks beamed. "I brought glitter grenades." Talia blinked. "I genuinely don't hate that." Moreno tapped the hologram again, now displaying a tactical overlay of the jungle zone they were being dropped into. "We're not going in heavy. That failed 12 times. We're going in weird." "You mean human?" Talia added. "Unpredictable, creative, illogical." "And reckless," Deeks chimed in. "And adaptable," Moreno finished. The ship's AI chimed in overhead. "Surface insertion in 2 hours. Caution. Carnix 9 is under cosmic quarantine. No Council reinforcements authorized." "We know," Moreno muttered. For a moment, no one spoke. Then, to everyone's surprise, Baba Yaga moved. He stood slowly, like an old machine waking up after decades of silence, His hood fell back, revealing a weathered, stone-like face and eyes so dark they absorbed the room's light. He cracked his neck, walked over to the tactical hologram, and pointed to a dense thicket on the western edge of the scan. "Here," he said. His voice was gravel soaked in molasses. "It thinks it's strongest there. It's right." And then he walked out of the room. Talia stared. That's the most he's said in 10 years, according to his psych file. Deeks leaned forward, eyebrows raised. "Wait. He talks?" Moreno turned back to the window. The storm over Karnix 9 pulsed like a heartbeat. There was something ancient down there, something cruel and deliberate. And now Earth was sending 4 people to face it. A scientist who refused to be afraid, a soldier who refused to be serious, a commander who refused to give up, and a man with nothing left to prove. "I want unconventional tactics," Moreno said. "I want asymmetric warfare. If any one of you has a plan that sounds like a bad joke, let's hear it." Deeks grinned. "You're finally speaking my language." Talia was already muttering to herself, running equations that made no mathematical sense to anyone but her. If it adapts to logic, what happens if we weaponize nonsense? Moreno closed the hologram. "Get ready." As the ship adjusted for descent, Karnix 9 loomed larger in the viewport. Its clouds parted, briefly revealing a scarred jungle that stretched from horizon to horizon. Somewhere down there, the galaxy's most dangerous predator waited, one that had outwitted every species that dared challenge it, and it hadn't met humans yet, especially not one who still believed that sometimes all you needed to solve an impossible problem was the right slap. The moment the drop shuttle pierced the planet's upper atmosphere, it began to creak under pressure. Magnetic turbulence danced across its hull, causing Talia's instrumentation to flicker with unreadable static. The world below pulsed, not just with electromagnetic interference, but with something deeper. A presence. Something old and watchful. The interior lighting shifted from white to an ominous red. "Ah," Deeks said cheerfully. "Mood lighting. I love when planets try to seduce me." "Focus," Moreno snapped, one hand gripping the console. "Autopilot's failing. Manual descent in 30. Talia turned pale. "We're coming in too fast." Outside, the skies boiled purple and green, clouds contorting like living things. Then, without warning, the shuttle dropped, as if some great hand had swatted it downward. Gravity punched them in the guts. The hull screamed. So did Deeks. And then, impact. Not an explosion, not a crash, more like the shuttle had been caught. It sank into something soft but unrelenting. Trees, vines, muck, no one could tell. When the hatch hissed open, the first breath of Karnix 9 struck like spoiled electricity, metallic and heavy with ozone and decay. They were in the jungle. It was silent. No birds, no insects. Just a dense, unbreathing green wall of life. "Everyone alive?" Moreno asked, unbuckling. "I think I swallowed my tongue," Deeks mumbled. "Tasted like chicken." Talia staggered out, scanning the perimeter with a blinking multimeter that beeped in uneven, panicked chirps. "This place is broken. Every rule of physics we know is being mocked right now." She pointed to a tree, except it wasn't a tree. It looked like one from a distance, but up close, its bark was skin. Breathing. Slowly. A ripple of goose flesh climbed up Moreno's arms. Deeks leaned close. "It's like a rubber plant. That's also afraid of commitment." From behind them, Baba Yaga stepped onto the spongy ground. He looked neither impressed nor disturbed. His black coat hung loosely over his frame, swaying in a wind no one else could feel. He spoke just once. "Don't listen." Before anyone could ask what he meant, he was gone, melted into the jungle like a ghost. Talia blinked. "How does he do that?" "Practice," Moreno muttered. "Stay close. Weapons on safety, but ready. We're not here to fight it unless we must. We're here to understand it, to think sideways." They moved as a loose wedge, carving through dense foliage with heat knives and clever curses. Every so often they'd find something that shouldn't be. An alien skull turned inside out, armor plating fused into a tree, weapons melted into modernist sculptures of horror. Talia paused at a clearing. "Wait," she whispered. "Look." Before them stood a perfect cube, 10 meters tall, made entirely of clear gel. Suspended inside was a full council strike unit, frozen mid-motion. The expressions on their faces were off. Not fear, not pain, confusion. "What is this?" Moreno asked. "Temporal jellification," Talia muttered, scanning frantically. "But it's not killing them. It's studying, like we'd put ants under glass." Deeks reached toward the cube, but his hand stopped inches short. He'd heard something. So had everyone else. A whisper, faint, garbled, but unmistakably, their own voices. "We should split up. We should split up. We should split up." Whispered again and again, from the trees, from the wind, from the ground beneath them. "Yeah, nope," Deeks said, taking a sharp step back. "It's mimicking us," Talia said, "trying to trick us into making bad decisions, like horror movie logic." "I thought that was your specialty," Moreno quipped. "I watch horror ironically, thank you." The whispering escalated. Now it wasn't just mimicry, it was invention. "He betrayed you. She's slowing you down. You'll die because of him." "Calm scramble," Moreno barked. Everyone switched to silent nods and hand signals, nothing it can twist. But before they could organize, a low rumble passed beneath their feet. The earth split. A shape surged upward, impossibly fast. It looked like a centipede made from nightmare and logic violations. Glimmering eyes blinked in all directions, and its armor shimmered with the exact frequency of their confusion. It lunged, not at Moreno, not at Deeks, at Talia. She didn't scream. She just stared, frozen. Then, slam. A blur streaked in from the left. The creature hit an invisible wall and bounced back. Not a wall, a hand. Baba Yaga stood between them, fingers outstretched. His palm glowed red from the impact, but otherwise he looked bored. "Sloppy," he muttered, staring down the beast. The thing recoiled. Not from pain, from recognition. It snarled, shrieked, and vanished into the underbrush, as if embarrassed. The others rushed forward. Talia was shaken but unharmed. "You slapped it," she whispered, stunned. "No," Baba Yaga said. "I reminded it." "Reminded it of what?" Moreno asked. "That there are older monsters than it," Baba Yaga replied. "And humans are very, very old." Silence. Deeks exhaled slowly. "Okay, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen." Baba Yaga didn't respond. He turned and began walking deeper into the jungle. Moreno looked at his team. "Change of plan. We don't chase the predator. We follow the monster it's afraid of." They moved quickly after him. Behind them, the trees seemed to sigh and close in. Whatever they were chasing, it was no longer the predator. It was the point of fear at the heart of the food chain. And somewhere ahead, Baba Yaga was leading the charge not with weapons, but with the same calm, terrifying certainty as a guillotine's drop. They followed Baba Yaga in silence. There was no trail, no path, just impossibility. The jungle shifted around them, not like trees bending in the wind, but like a living maze rearranging its pieces. Landmarks appeared, vanished. Gravity tilted, righted itself. Time skipped. Seconds became minutes. Minutes collapsed into blinks. But Baba Yaga walked straight through. No compass, no scans, just intuition, or maybe something more primal. "Does anyone else feel like they're walking inside a hallucination?" Talia whispered, clutching her scanner, which now displayed only the word no. Deeks nodded. "Yup. I also feel like the jungle's trying to politely unmake us. It's doing it with class, though. Very tasteful existential dread. Stick to sarcasm, Moreno said quietly, watching Baba Yaga's back. If we start thinking about what's actually happening, we go insane. They stopped at a place that should not have existed, a clearing shaped like a perfect spiral. The trees bent outward, as though bowing to something vast and invisible, and in the center, a crater, 10 meters wide, lined with black stone, glossy, vantablack. No light escaped it, and resting at its center, curled like a snake around a dying sun. The predator. It was asleep, breathing, but not peacefully. Its massive exoskeletal plates were flexing, twitching, responding. It wasn't just a predator in rest, it was calculating in its dreams, adapting, learning. Talia crouched beside the rim, trembling. It's not just a hunter, it's a logic engine. That's why the other species couldn't beat it. They fought with rules. This thing evolves mid-strategy. Moreno exhaled. That's why the council couldn't kill it. Every time they escalated, it escalated harder. Deeks leaned over the edge. So, we're back to square one. Except now, we're standing in front of a god snake taking a power nap. Baba Yaga was motionless, watching, hands folded behind his back. Not a god, he said. A tyrant. A king of prey who forgot that fear is not authority. That's where it failed. Talia turned to him, voice quiet. Then how do you stop something that adapts to everything? You don't, Baba Yaga said. He stepped forward, placing a bare hand on the black stone. The heat should have burned him alive. It didn't. You confuse it. They stared at him. Moreno took a slow step forward. You're saying the only way to win is to stop playing by the rules. Baba Yaga didn't look back. We've always been chaos wrapped in flesh. That's why humanity survived when others stagnated, why we explored, why we dreamed. This creature understands strategy. It doesn't understand. He turned, eyes gleaming. Madness. Deeks grinned. Finally, something I'm uniquely qualified to contribute to. But what do we do? Talia asked. What kind of chaos beats a creature that studied every civilization in the galaxy? Baba Yaga walked back to the group and crouched. He traced a pattern in the dirt, circles within circles, jagged paths, false centers. It wasn't a plan. It was an anti-plan. Humans, he said, don't just adapt to threats. We laugh in their face. We make stories, jokes. We give our nightmares names and then dress like them on Halloween. That's what this thing can't process. Our ability to be illogical and still win. Moreno smirked. We break the fourth wall while bleeding out. Exactly, Baba Yaga said. So let's play its game and change the rules every turn. They got to work. Deeks planted hologram mines in nonsense patterns, exploding only if someone thought about them. Talia scrambled frequency channels into an endless loop of ancient Earth memes, cultural references, and bagpipe solos. She even embedded laughter tracks, unprompted, into the airwaves. Moreno placed sonic projectors around the perimeter, designed not to frighten, but confuse. Screams of extinct predators, the moans of a vacuum breach, pop music, and Baba Yaga waited. Each hour, the predator stirred. Each time, it tried to calculate, to understand. But the inputs made no sense. Its mind, optimized for logic, survival, dominance, began to churn with paradox. Humanity was an infection it couldn't quantify. Then, the moment came. A breath, a blink, a pulse of wrongness. The predator woke. It uncoiled in a blur of impossible joints and armored limbs. Dozens of eyes blinked in every spectrum. It turned, immediately, toward Baba Yaga. But Baba Yaga was dancing, slowly, out of rhythm, like a memory of a waltz played backward. The predator recoiled. The movement made no sense. It studied the humans, trying to categorize their formation. But there was none. Deeks sat cross-legged, blowing bubbles. Talia was holding a banana like a comm unit. Moreno pointed a stick at the monster and yelled, "Expecto confundus!" The creature screamed, not in rage, in static. The logic engine broke. Then Baba Yaga struck. He didn't run. He didn't leap. He walked right up to the predator, staring directly into its primary eye, and with an open palm, slap. The jungle froze. The sound echoed through trees and bone and memory. The predator staggered, not from pain, from reboot. It blinked, tried to recalculate, couldn't. For the first time in its existence, it knew what it was to be prey. Baba Yaga stepped forward, whispered something no one else heard. The predator whimpered and collapsed, not dead, but reduced, from apex to animal. Moreno looked stunned. You slapped it, and it gave up. Baba Yaga turned to him. Number. It realized it had never been hunting. We were just letting it try. Deeks raised a hand. So, can we keep it? Maybe teach it fetch? Talia elbowed him. Hard no. They turned to Baba Yaga, now walking away from the crater. Talia called after him. Wait! What did you say to it? He didn't stop walking, but his voice drifted back, low and amused. I told it. We named our monsters after fairy tales, and that the worst ones, he looked over his shoulder, look just like me. They didn't celebrate, not right away. The predator's body still steamed in the crater, twitching as if caught between dreams and waking. It had ceased to be a threat, but the echo of what it was still lingered, like the final note of a song that once ended worlds. Baba Yaga stood at the edge, watching it carefully, silent, thoughtful. Behind him, the others slowly gathered. Is it going to stay down? Talia asked, voice soft. No, Baba Yaga said, but it won't stand against us again. Why not just kill it? Moreno asked, hand still near her sidearm. Deeks answered first. Because death would have made it a martyr to its own instincts. But humiliation? He grinned. You don't bounce back from that. Talia sat down beside a half-crushed fern. The council's not going to believe this. They don't need to, Baba Yaga said. The jungle will remember. And it did. By the time they reached the extraction shuttle, the jungle had cleared itself. The impossible flora had peeled back as if embarrassed, the tangled roots pulling away from the path like an apology. Even the skies above, once choked in storm, were calm. When they broke atmosphere, the comms lit up with chaos. Council fleets, observer drones, 3 different alien races attempting to hail them at once. Talia patched them through, reluctantly. This is Team Polyphemus, she began. Mission accomplished. The predator has been neutralized. Confirmed, came the voice of Admiral Nevik, a Zalari tactician. You killed it? There was a pause. No, she said. We beat it. It's still alive, but it knows better now. Another pause. Longer this time. Then, how? Talia looked at the others. Deeks raised his hand and made a slapping motion with a grin. Moreno shook her head in disbelief. Baba Yaga said nothing. Talia replied simply, human tactics. That answer rippled across the galactic networks within minutes. They weren't ready for what came next. News feeds exploded. Holovids looped theoretical dramatizations. Satirical cartoons depicted Baba Yaga slapping the predator so hard it created a second Big Bang. Cultures that once viewed humans as unpredictable wild cards suddenly began to study them, not for weakness, but for wisdom. For the first time in generations, humanity wasn't feared. They were consulted, invited, respected. Every species that had faced the predator before had brought weapons, logic, strategy. Humanity brought madness, memes, and myth. And won. One particularly viral quote came from a Scathari diplomat. The humans didn't destroy the predator. They broke its operating system with paradox and personality. It's like trying to beat fire with math, then realizing the fire just learned to dance. As for the team, Talia returned to the academy, where she was invited to speak to xenopsychology students across 3 planets. She titled her seminar, How Confusion Saved Civilization. Deeks published a memoir titled Bubblegum and Bombs, half of which was redacted by 3 separate governments. The parts that weren't? Instant classics. Moreno declined every interview. She quietly rejoined a human peacekeeping unit, where the motto on their armor now read, Adaptation is overrated. And Baba Yaga? He vanished. One day, the council tried to locate him. They found no trace, no logs, no trails, but reports filtered in from border worlds. Strange sightings, rumors, a monster hunter who walked into burning cities and walked out with silence in his wake. A myth who solved wars without drawing weapons. A shadow who left slapped corpses of apex predators behind. He became legend. Some called him a ghost, others a spirit of Earth's wrath. But one name endured, the one who slapped a god. Years later, in a small alien village beneath 3 suns, a child asked their elder, Why did the humans win when no one else could? The elder leaned forward, voice low with reverence. Because the Predator was the galaxy's best student. It learned every tactic, every strategy. It had no fear, until it met the one thing it couldn't model. What was that? The child asked. The elder smiled. A human who didn't play by the rules.